All right, thanks for checking out today's episode. It's called How Your Waste Makes a Stock Delicious. So in classical cooking, a stock, specifically a vegetable stock in today's episode, is the basic foundation that all soups, sauces, and stews are made. I'm going to cover the basic ingredients like a mirepoix, which is the onion, celery, and carrots here, and then aromats, and those are a few different seasonings. And time management, it's going to be how you're going to handle your stock from beginning to the finished product and all the steps in between of what you have to do to get your finished product. And specifically, I'm going to show you how waste. Now, waste is going to be all the original offcuts, the skins, the ends, the peels, everything that you would normally throw in your trash, aka your waste. We're going to turn that and make a stock that will be absolutely delicious. For a traditional vegetable stock, you will have a mirepoix with onions, carrots, and celery. With that, the percentage, you should have your ratio, 50% of onion, 25% of carrot, 25% of celery. A large dice is generally fine. You can leave the skins on. All adds flavor. With a large dice, you'll probably be looking at a cooking time to pull all the flavor and essences out of all the vegetables, probably about an hour. With a garlic, I will take the whole bulb, slice it in half, expose all the insides, so that'll be about the same thing. We're not going to do that. I'm going to show you how to save a little bit of money. Use your vegetables for what you originally intended them for. You will be taking like the peels of the carrot stems and the tip, all the outside peel of the onion. You'll use the celery root, and always sometimes you get the little bits of the celery that are brown or just doesn't look quite nice. You always cut them off and you toss all that stuff away. It's a waste of money. I'll take a gallon bag and I'll take all the ends and put it in. So I have carrot peelings. I have all sorts of different vegetables. The only thing I wouldn't put in here is anything that's not generic, something specific like anything spicy, like jalapeno peppers. I'd keep that out of there. I'd keep anything that would turn bitter, eggplant, mushrooms. Mushrooms is good in a vegetable stock, but when you use mushroom, it tends to turn your vegetable stock very dark. Just the way it happens. It's something with the oxidization of the vegetable itself. So basically, I would take this bag, stick it in my freezer, and just anytime I would have something like the offcuts, I'll put it in the bag, seal it back up, leave it in the freezer. When I get a full bag, this bag would actually be more than enough for this stock pot. This stock pot, I think, is 10 quarts, so that's 2.5 gallons. So that's what we're going to make. So we're going to take all our offcuts, we'll add this to it, we'll take the bag, dump it in the pot, fill it up with water. The aromats that we use, the general basic aromat in for French culinary cooking would be bay leaf, thyme, and whole peppercorn. You can use fresh if you want. You don't need to. Dry herbs will work just fine. If you don't have whole peppercorn, you can use ground pepper. Just use a very minute amount. Don't add salt in the beginning because you can always add salt when you're using the stock for the next step, whether it be a soup, a sauce, or a stew, whatever you're planning on using the stock for. It's better to leave it, just let all the vegetables melt into the water and give its flavor and not enhance it with any bit of salt. Because what happens if you take this full of water and you go to reduce it for a sauce, you increase all the flavor. All the flavors become enhanced. So now if you also add salt to it and it was perfectly seasoned with salt to your liking, but you took 1 gallon of stock and you reduced it down to half a gallon, now you just doubled the salt. You can't get rid of that high sodium flavor, and it's going to become over salted for your product, your finished product, whether it be your soup or sauce or stew. All right, we're going to take our bag and then we're going to place it into the stock pot and get the water filled to the top of the vegetables. Dump them in. Come in. That's full high. And that's it. Our next step on our timeline, we're going to bring this to a full rapid boil. And then we're going to turn it down to a medium simmer. So which that means a full and rolling boil is 212 degrees, where the water, or this case, the vegetable stock, you'll see everything boiling up just like when you make pasta. You want to bring that down to a low simmer, which means you're barely going to see bubbles around the side of the pot. So that's it. So we're going to wait for this to come up to a boil, and we'll see you at that step. Okay, so the one thing I forgot to add was my garlic. I'm just 4 minutes into my cooking. So that's my garlic right there. Split it in half. There's the end. Place it in. Bubbling too hard. That's a medium simmer. Almost to a rolling boil. You see how that backed down? That's where I want to keep it. So that's where we're going to stay for the next hour and a half. Okay, now that my stock came up to a boil, I turned it down to a simmer. I pulled some of the liquid out because it was boiling over. I put too much liquid in this pot. I'm going to let it reduce. I'm going to let it cook on the stove for about an hour, hour and a half. During that time, the stock will reduce and evaporate a little bit. The flavors will get more enhanced. At that point, I'm going to add this piece back into it, just because I don't want to lose any flavor. And then what is going to happen at the end of about an hour and a half, we're going to strain it, save the juice, and then toss our waste. Hey, here we are. It's our last step. We're going to strain our stock. It's been sitting on probably about an hour and a half. Off camera, I found when I was going through my refrigerator, I had an open can of Heinz tomato sauce, which is just pureed tomato, and I found a bunch of parsley. I also threw those in. I rinsed them off, and sometimes you got to be careful with fresh parsley. It's a little bit sandy, so before you put it in, just make sure you rinse it off. I put that in with an hour to go. It's a basic vegetable flavor, good, nice broth seasoning. Adjust it how you want it. This one has a little bit less of a garlic flavor. I should have actually added more garlic to it. But we're going to take it off the fire. We're going to strain it into this pot. All the hard pieces we're going to throw away, and we're going to be left with the broth. Before you put it in your refrigerator, let it cool, room temperature. You're safe, as per the restaurant Serve Safe, for about 2 hours. You want to try and get it down to as low as you can get, but it needs to get below 40 degrees within 2 hours. So basically that's what you need to do. If you need to set up an ice bath, put the bowl inside of an ice bath, drop the temperature down quicker. You can stick it in your refrigerator, but they don't recommend it because a lot of refrigerators can't compensate for the sudden drop in, They can't drop the temperature low enough so that your refrigerator will actually come up in temperature, which would put all your other food products in jeopardy. So you just got to be careful. I let it sit out for about half an hour, 20 minutes. Just keep stirring it, let the heat dissipate. Once it gets down below I'd say about 80 degrees is when I stick it in my refrigerator. I have a super cool button that makes the condensers kick on. With that being said, let's strain the dish. All right, it's a little too big to dish out. Let's start that again. This pot is too big to handle to be able to pour it into this safely. So I'm going to grab a smaller pot, scoop, and pour it into my chinois. And you can see the parsley. Add a little bit of flat and a little bit of curly left. And just shake it. Have it go through. And this is it for your vegetable stock. Actually makes quite a bit of stock. Now you can see that liquid sitting in there and how it doesn't want to, how it's just a little cone pouring out. Shake it up. Probably take that noise out for you guys. Alright. Now it's more manageable. See if I can get it right to the top. Stand this way, and that way you can see what's left. Really good, it smells really good. Now just think about it. All this flavor that you just created out of the stock would have been in the trash, and it would technically be lost money you just threw away. All right, there you have it. Out of that and there, one pot of stock. That's gonna make good soup. Thank you for tuning in. From this one, I'm gonna let it cool, put it in the refrigerator. We'll figure out what we can make next. Probably make a quick soup will be the next episode. I'm gonna take it, put it into smaller containers also. Don't think I'm gonna go through this much, and then I'm gonna freeze it. That way I have it on hand, I can use it and I can stock it. However you wanna freeze it. Different portable containers, that kind of thing. Say hello. Say hi, everybody. What are you sorry for? Come on in. Don't freeze. Come on. Hide. Hide. Oh. All right. I forget what I was saying now. All right. I don't know where I left off here. So basically, this is what's left over out of the waste byproduct of stuff that would normally hit the trash. And basically, in the restaurant business and culinary terms, anything that hits the trash, you're just throwing away money. It's just wasted money that's not put into the bottom line of your business. For people, it's pretty much the same thing in regular residential life. Anything you throw away in the trash, think about it. It's just money going away. Something you didn't use, it, you bought it, you purchased it, you paid it per pound. But here, you took it one step further and you were able to use stuff that is waste. Thank you for tuning in. If you didn't get a chance, please subscribe, share with your friends. Please leave me a comment. Let me know. I know I'm just starting out with this, but yeah, let me know what you think. Any helpful bits of advice would be great. I look forward to reading your comments. Hope you guys are well. Thank you very much, and see you on the next one. We're going to let this simmer and reduce. You know what? We're going to pull a cup of that out.